Thank you all to the coveted post-lunch speech. I know that's one of the favorite ones. Super excited to have you all here at the Future of Food, Innovating for Tomorrow's Consumer. Seems like a very important topic, and to that end, we have three illustrious, well-experienced, and good-looking panelists.
As we check
I love that. I love that because I didn't even want to pause for laughter. All right. Cool. So we'll quickly run through the agenda here. Obviously, we're going to do introductions, a little bit of state of the industry, investing in growth, where loyalty is headed. Scaling for smarter with AI, a huge topic, and I think we're actually just going to jump ahead. We're going to tell you what AI stands for as part of this, I think. Unlocking new revenue streams, a little bit of a lightning round. Does that make you guys nervous? Did you see that your chairs were plugged in? All right. And then we'll do a little bit of Q&A. And with that, I'm going to let the panelists introduce themselves, starting here with Joel Bulger.
Good afternoon. I'm Joel Bulger. I am currently the Chief Marketing Officer of WOWorks. We own about 300 restaurants, healthier for you brands, including SaladWorks, Barbaritos, Fruitable, and et al. But thrilled to be here. I've known James for a long, long time, and very pleased to be on the panel.
Hello, everyone. I'm Susan Senecal, and I'm from A&W Food Services of Canada. Guess where I'm from? Canada, Vancouver. We have almost 1,200 restaurants across the country, and wow. We sell great tasting burgers and the very best beef. So glad to be here. Thanks for joining us.
I'm not really happy I have to follow that. 300 restaurants, 1,100 restaurants. I have 3.5 restaurants currently. But we're small but mighty. Kansas City, Missouri based, TikiTaco CEO. Been there, took over the brand in July of last year. Previous to that, I was with PDQ on the East Coast, fast food chicken concept for 14 years.
Fantastic. James Walker, I have the distinct pleasure to be 1 month in as the CEO of Lunchbox, our host tonight. So super excited. Thank you. My mom's in the back. So actually she is. Little bit on future state of the restaurant industry. Not news to anyone in this room that restaurants face their fair share of challenges, I think, especially today. But with the right strategies, we think that we can move ahead. We've seen some great success over the past year with M&A, some just absolute huge transactions. There was a sandwich company based in New England that got bought for, it seemed like a lot of money to me. Other obvious large transactions on the immediate horizon, companies going public, so a lot going on. So with that, let's kick off with a quick question for each of you. Are you ready?
Oh boy.
All right. What is the boldest or most unexpected move your brand has made in the last year to future-proof your business? Starting with Joel.
I would say boldest is, given all the restaurants I have and a little bit of a softness over for some of the brands, getting into the virtual brands arena. And really, we've now opened 4, and we've got 4 more on the way. Tailoring them to the different brands and optimizing kitchens is really what it's about. But it's its own unique, with some of the, because I'm sure lots of folks are in this room, with some of the delivery services and Easy Cater and some other things and how that works. It's got its own unique set of challenges, but it's a great way to kind of cross-pollinate my brands. Like Garbanzo's is a virtual brand inside of Barbaritos, and so we kind of do that, and then we built some of our own.
Awesome. And 4 virtual brands?
Currently.
He actually has 3. I'm telling you, he made it up because he wanted to have a half one more.
Oh, yeah. I have 3.5 virtual brands.
Good one.
I still don't know what that means, though. Hopefully it's in development.
No, I say that so somebody says, what is half? We have a food truck, too. So
food truck.
I don't have those yet, but I want them.
Yeah.
Awesome. Susan?
One of the things we've done is in Canada, I think like the US, there's a growing population, especially of South Asians, so lots of demographic changes. We partnered with Canada's leading producer of high quality South Asian flavors and produced a veggie masala burger. We launched it in Ontario, which is kind of in the center of the country, and it sold out within 3 days. Then we launched it nationally, so it's been a real hit and really appreciated. We get more thank you notes for having launched that product than I think I can remember in all of my years with A&W.
Wow, great.
I would have to say, I'm going to lean on people always to be bold with. So we just rolled out a super aggressive compensation package for our operators, our store level operators. I think that a lot of brands don't do that. They're looking for warm bodies to fill a place to run that restaurant and probably see the success of those restaurants not where they want that to be. So I guess being bold is something that's kind of been with me, and really good concepts over the years is always invest in your people.
Great, love that answer. That's fantastic. So moving on, yeah, a round of applause. Not awkward at all.
Can I add to his answer? Can I build on his answer?
You can, yes.
One thing though,
We got an hour and a half for this, I think.
I told you I've known him a long time, so it's going to be like this. One thing I have said though is the most successful franchisees I've ever seen are people that invest in their management, and what they do is make up your number at the beginning of the year, whatever it is. If you're a $1 million store and you want to be 10% up at 1.1, you have made your cut, whatever it is. Anything over that, start sharing it. And make that their profit sharing, their 401k. I'm amazed at how many stores where their goal was 1.1 and they hit 1.3 because of the VIG, as the mafia calls it.
That's great. Excellent. Joel Bulger talking about the mafia. Moving into the next topic, let's talk about how consumer trends are changing. So a big stat, as of 2024, 72% of consumers say they are prioritizing healthier eating more than they did the previous year. Woo-hoo. And that seems like a strong thing for you, Joel.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about how brands are adapting to serve more health-conscious, value-driven consumers. Joel, what trends in customer behavior or ingredients are shaping your 2025 strategy?
Clean is the answer. I've been there 6 months, and so I've got, of my 6 brands, 2 of them are clean now. The rest of them are just, and it's, believe it or not, as you go through brands, a lot of it is just common sense. Like with Fruitable, which is an acai concept, we had 2 different kind of whipped creams. One had high fructose corn syrup, one did not. It's like, well, as soon as I got rid of that product, that brand was literally clean. And it's like just going through the menu and being smart. And seed oils are obviously the other thing, and really working towards that. So just trying to clean up the labels, because it really does matter. And then advertise it. A lot of people go to a lot of trouble to have a clean label, and then they forget to tell the public.
Great. Susan, A&W's long-standing sustainability story, from reusable mugs, one of my favorite things there, to reducing single-use items, all core to the brand. How are you defining value in a way that aligns with those values?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, we were lucky. A&W started in 1956. I don't know if there was disposable tableware at that time. So we had frozen mugs that sit in freezers, and they frost up when you pour the root beer in them. We've moved to plates and forks and knives and metal cutlery for our breakfasts. We have little baskets for our fries. And that's really left an impression on people. And we constantly total up how much we've saved in terms of landfill. We look at composting in every community that's available. And that really, I think, resonates with a lot of our guests. They feel like they're doing something a little bit better for themselves, for the environment, for their children, if they're bringing children with them, and setting an example. So that's been really successful for us. And combined with the quality of our food, that's really the standout. I think it's something that's really differentiated A&W over all those years and allowed us to compete successfully with lots and lots of QSR competitors in Canada.
Fantastic.
Good answer.
Great.
Yeah, I think the most challenging part is everyone's definition of clean, as you say, or more healthy changes year to year, it seems. We've just taken the approach that we're going to make just about everything in-house. So I think, you go back to the COVID 2020, 2021 days, and restaurants were forced to make decisions they probably didn't want to make, whether it be getting prepackaged or cheaper, for the lack of better words, food, because the margins are so tight. And I think also with the inflation of the menu prices over the last 3 or 4 years, now people need that value proposition. Why am I going to come to you to spend that $15? So we're just shifting in that direction, that we're going to make everything from scratch in-house. So, and then we also cut big holes in the wall too, so you can actually see the people back there making your food too. So
It's the best marketing.
yeah.
So I have a follow-up question, and it seems really like it dovetails nicely to what you just said. Do you think today's guests are more interested in transparency, or is it really novelty? What if you had to pick one? Because there's certainly brands doing a lot right now through novelty, through just a very rapid sequence of limited time offers, not mentioning any brands, but some of them using, saying, giant potato chips, for example. Novelty or transparency? What's more important?
I think transparency, without a doubt. So
Don't give him the answers. We're paying him for this.
I think being honest and authentic about what you're doing. So again, whether we're shooting a video for TikTok or Instagram, showing behind the scenes of how we make our salsas, or slicing the El Pastor that goes on a spit vertical broiler each and every day. But and also if we're not doing something, let them know as well. So we also partner with a local ice cream company that only employs people with disabilities. And so there's a really good story behind it. It's called Golden Scoop, if anybody wants to check it out. They only have 2 locations, but they're getting into grocery stores. So we obviously don't make that in-house, but we look for opportunities to partner with people locally that do really good in the community.
It's really cool. I heard they had 2.5 locations. Is that not true?
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
That's really cool, though.
So with that, we'll move a little bit on to technology. 2024, 100% of restaurant owners reported that automation and technology have improved their businesses. 54% of them planning to increase spending on these tools to enhance efficiency and reduce costs. Let's explore a little bit about how innovation can unlock efficiency during times of budget pressure. So Susan, we'll start with you. When we were chatting before the panel, you shared an example of auditing utility usage by equipment across franchisee locations. Can you share a little bit about that and how you got savvy in reducing costs?
Sure. Well, we really wanted to look at all of the costs on the P&L. As you say, it's important that price not be the only way that we recoup some of the cost increases, but that we eliminate waste. And if you're using more energy than you need to, then that doesn't benefit the guest. So we started to monitor all of the equipment in, at first, one location and now multiple locations. And we discovered some really, almost from the get-go, our franchisees were saying, I didn't know the toaster used this much energy. And so we've adopted a total cost of ownership model for how we specify equipment. And we look at energy usage as one of the really big things that drives our decision making. And some of our franchisees are reporting, the early adopters are reporting really incredible savings and less heat in the kitchen, lots of other side benefits. So it's been quite an exciting development that's been made possible by the type of technology and the type of monitoring that we're able to do in real time.
Fantastic. Joel, I understand you saved $250,000 using AI for photography. Seems like a big win.
I will this year. Yeah, we're close. We're well over $100,000 right now. Because as many of you with franchise systems, with me having 6, what you can't do legally is share money across brands, right? If the franchisee A has money over here, I can't use franchisee B, and you certainly can't use it for virtual brands. And so between multiple AI, like Flux, if you guys know Flux 1.1 and things like that, I do, at the end of the day, I grab a glass of wine and I sit in my house and I do AI photography until I get tired. But I mean, I've done, if you go on SoupWorks or Titan Euro or any of those things, beautiful photography, and all of it's made up. All of it's made up by me, which is nice for a number of reasons, because not only do I own it, but I'll never pay a royalty on it. If there's people in it, I never have to pay them anything. So I would strongly, and there's other, other AI we use, Pixely and Glam and other things for these virtual brands. And there's so many programs out there that'll cost you $40 a month, and you can do amazing content, you can do amazing food photography. So I encourage you to try it.
Great. Excellent. Eric, you've talked about using automation not just for efficiency, but also improve team morale, kind of ties into doubling down on employee satisfaction and make sure you're investing in your employees. What's one investment you've made that's paid off for both operations as well as people?
Yeah, I mean, first, I think when you evaluate any technology, you have to ask yourself, what problem am I trying to solve, number one, and then two is like, how is that going to make my team's job easier? I think sometimes we get a little aggressive and force something on people that probably isn't making their lives easier. But I would say that I'm going to do two. One, we use Ovation for guest feedback, and it has AI built into it. It just becomes much easier for the GMs to respond to either positive, negative feedback, where they don't, I know this is going to sound crazy, but they don't actually have to type out their response, right? So they'll hit the little button, it'll generate a cool response, and then of course they still go and maybe alter a word or two that they don't like or make it more personalized. But they seem to like it because it saves them time. And the second is utilizing it in forecasting for sales and for labor and scheduling. And I think, again, it's great that you can have that pattern recognition and look out, forward facing to do that for you. But again, it saves the team time and they love it, right? So they don't have to copy last week's schedule or go and look at what sales were last year or last week or the last 8 weeks. It's just giving you all of the answers without you having to do the work. And I think most technology, that is the goal, is how can we let the tech tell us the information so our people can spend all of their time putting actions into place, whether it be with the other team members or the guests.
Fantastic. Great. I thought fantastic answers. Moving on to one of my favorite topics, hot one in the industry today, building guest loyalty. So 2024, 78% of current loyalty program members are more likely to visit a restaurant where they can earn points, even if it's less convenient. So let's dive into how loyalty is evolving and where the biggest opportunities are. So Susan, you're launching a loyalty program, I'm led to believe, this spring after years of planning, like it was written directly in front of me on this laptop. What finally pushed you to making this a priority?
77% of customers. Well, I think a couple of things. One is certainly it's become an expectation. So most brands, most retailers have some form of loyalty recognition, and we launched a mobile app, so we have the capability of doing that. But more exciting to us is our ability to really personalize some of our offers and our communications. Eric mentioned responding to guest feedback and so on. This is a really important thing for us, and we think this will really improve not only the connectivity that we have with our guests, but also the ease of operations in the restaurant to be able to respond well and to correct problems as they arise if they do.
Fantastic. Joel, so you've got a number of different brands. Many of them, if not all of them, are in very competitive categories. What tools or strategies across the WOWorks portfolio are you using to help your brands stand out and stay meaningful and relevant to guests?
Loyalty is something that, like I said, I've only been there 6 months. It's something that really needs to be worked on. But I think that's going to be one of the strongest things. If I could truly develop over the next 12 to 18 months a kind of a platform type loyalty program. Because right now the other thing we're doing is we're doing a lot of co-branding as well, where we're doing Barbaritas and Fruita Bowl together, which is great because you eliminate veto vote. You've always got something for everyone, reasonably speaking. But for us, it's just remember if you're dealing with franchisees and loyalty, that franchisees will always complain about loyalty. Oh my gosh, there are customers that love us and you're giving food away. It's an entirely different strategy. You have top of the funnel new customers. Loyalty is a frequency play, right? You're getting the people that love you to come more often or change their behavior, or if they're day part, or if they're lunch people, you make them dinner people, right? And so, but with the loyalty, you know so much about those people that you can, manipulate's the wrong word, you can encourage them to do the things you want them to do just by the knowledge that you have about them.
Great. So Eric, we've had a discussion around how loyalty doesn't just mean points. I know a lot of people, when they think of loyalty, they think of points or stars. How can you build loyalists outside of just a traditional point program?
Yes, I mean, we do obviously do that too, right? We have loyalty, we use a customer data platform, we have 45 different segmentations based off your journey, et cetera, et cetera. But I kind of wanted to talk about how to build loyalty in the community instead of on an app. And I think that there's at least moving from the East Coast to the Midwest, there's a really massive opportunity for us in the community. It seems as if restaurants maybe have lost touch with doing things in their own community or acting like the mayor in their community. So I think, it was a culture shock a little bit when I came into it. They're like, oh my God, you want to donate what? To who? Can we afford that? whether it's a gift card or a silent auction item. We have a food truck, so I've donated that as an auction item for that. We do a ton with schools and churches, and it's gotten to the point now in 9 months where we're not having to go and do outbound sales type scenarios to tell people about what we do, and they're just coming to us because everyone has a need, right? And one of the main needs that people have when doing fundraising is food. So it's very easy entry for us to be able to do some sponsorship stuff.
Thank you.
Great. I love that answer.
It's a great
All
answer.
right,
Yeah.
so follow-up for the group. Anyone can take this. What's one underrated signal or data point that you track that others might miss when thinking about loyalty?
That's a great question. I don't remember that on my list of questions.
I literally just made it up.
I know you did.
People are passing things off to the side.
I like to use the product mix. I like to take the product mix and see what items my most loyal guests are ordering.
And what do you do with that information? It seems like a really powerful thing to know.
So when you try and get people to join the loyalty, utilize those product mix items as your marketing material. Because I think sometimes, people will take a look at your menu online or maybe your menu in the store, and they might miss a lost leader that somebody who has been to your restaurant a bunch of times is ordering. And it's not always your highest product mix item that you're selling is actually the ones that the loyalists are buying.
That's great. And I'm guessing that birria taco might be one of those items that was like a slide bag.
100%.
I guess for me, it would probably be similar, but looking at the LTOs. Because if I have loyal guests who suddenly came in one more time because I gave them something they haven't tried before, just make sure that anything I'm trading them from to a new LTO product, you're making more money on. Be margin accretive, but short of that, it's good to see the excitement when I drop an LTO and all of a sudden I get a bunch of people who know us really well are changing their behavior to come try it. That's pretty powerful.
That's great.
I don't know if this is unique, but we track compliments. So, we have concerns and compliments, and we track them, and we look at them over a long period of time, system-wide, and we see what kinds of things attract, like your community involvement, what kinds of things track well with compliments. It's quite an investment for someone to actually take the time to write or type in or give us feedback. So we do track that quite significantly, and I think it leads us to some insights that we might not otherwise get.
That's fantastic. So moving on, 2024 again, 1/3 of restaurant operators have adopted artificial intelligence technology. An additional 48% plan to do so within the year. So what does scaling smarter actually look like, and where is artificial intelligence paying off? So Joel, we'll start with you. You're using AI tools across really everything from social to training. What's next for you and your team?
Training's been really interesting because AI's gotten to the point where the people in training videos are pretty legit. I mean, they look pretty close. They're not as strange as they used to be with 6 fingers and all that good stuff. But training is a big thing. To your point, answering a lot of customer comments and complaints through AI, where you can even pick the tone. Where you say, for this product, I want it to be a little funny. For this product, depending upon what type of complaint it is, I want it to be a little more sincere or whatever. And so, but AI is powerful. It just, even though we have a lot of restaurants, we're a fairly lean company. And so the more I can use that to let my people be strategic and then let the AI kind of do the heavy lifting is kind of what we're looking at.
Fantastic answer. I also would have accepted. We're moving on to Lunchbox. Susan, you've already said that AI is already embedded in all of your systems. What kind of decisions or optimizations are really already now happening because of that?
Well, one quick example is when we need to get information out to franchisees really quickly. We operate in Quebec, which is French speaking, and we're able to use captioning and AI translations to really quickly turn items around, news items, or anything that we need to say quickly. And also, we're able to use different languages as well. So if you have a manager or someone, if it's a really technical thing that we're trying to explain, they're able to tap in and use different language capabilities to have a better understanding, and that helps with our training too.
That's great. Eric, you've managed to streamline operations without losing the brand's hands-on feel. We talked about that, I think, a couple of times. What specific tools or decisions in your tech stack have helped you automate efficiently across different store models? And you have at least 2. Is it more than 2?
It's soon to be 5 different models. So I think speed is really number one. And when I say speed, it's speed without manpower, right? With AI or automation. I think a lot, at least in my past, we've fell victim to just like this bloat, this overhead bloat, where it's just we keep adding bodies and people, and it becomes super inefficient and unproductive. So I'm trying to build as lean, I guess was the word that you used, as lean as possible, and really invest all the time and effort into the actual units and the leadership within the units. But there's all sorts of what I would call fun things out there right now. So, we're building our LMS out now as a 3.5 unit brand. It's probably very early, but I have a really big tech stack now. But with AI, it's much faster. It can, read a recipe and generate menu tests and how many days it should take to train that and basically do all that work for you. And then videos we're actually keeping in-house. We're doing like TikTok style 30, 45 second training videos, utilizing people in the restaurants, the ownership group, et cetera, trying to have some fun with it. But there may be a company out there, and I'm not sure if I'm able to plug it right now, but there may be a company out there that's building basically like a chat GPT for your specific brand. So your team members could text a number and say, hey, what's the meal policy, or what's the recipe for this, or is this gluten-free, or what are the allergens in this, and then it goes and gets the answer and text message back to the team member. And the reason, it's cool, right? Like AI, I think, is part of like everybody's logo. It's part of everybody's name now out there. So it's really hard to determine who actually is using it and how they're using it. But I think with this, I always get back to like the team. And if you're a new team member, it might be a little daunting to ask multiple questions like your first week about stuff that you're unsure of. So being able to text to a phone number and get an answer back, I think is pretty cool.
Very cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Share that when you can.
Yeah, I just got to get approval on. Yeah, Science on Call is doing it. They're sitting right there.
Yay!
We have another chair. All right, moving on to our last topic, unlocking new revenue streams. So nearly 60% of restaurant operators say they're actively exploring new revenue streams. I think that means 40% of restaurant operators are looking for new jobs. Outside of the 4 walls, really, margin pressure is huge. Let's talk about creative ways to grow from, we talked about virtual brands to community-led innovation. Joel, great comment with a stat from WOWorks that the virtual kitchens are driving 35 to 50% more revenue per store. What advice would you have to give brands looking to maximize what they already have?
It's, I guess, create a business case. We like for anything, but we have franchisees that literally have gone crazy with virtual brands, where they were and I'll use nice round numbers that aren't true, but if it was $1 million brand, suddenly it's a $1.7 million brand with the right virtual brands in place. The problem is when people are, some of my brands, we buy them kind of as they're evolving, so sometimes the sales are a little soft, and it's hard to get people where sales are down to say, but if you just bring in these SKUs and a little bit more equipment, I can make you more money, right? But with the right business case, now we have business cases where we say, and we have enough brands and we're building more virtual brands that I can find the perfect fit regardless of what your kitchen is. And so the biggest thing is just, it takes money to make money, and life starts at the end of your comfort zone. So just step forward and give it a try, because if you can maximize your kitchen, especially on some of my brands where like some of my brands are breakfast, lunch day parts, like on Acai concept, where it's like suddenly I've got a lot of kitchen from in the evening, right? And so how do you maximize the space you have? And that's how you're successful.
Great answer. Eric, TikiTaco's mission is to deliver bold flavors at a low price point. Seems today super difficult with rising costs. As you look beyond the 4 walls, what are some new revenue streams you're exploring?
Yeah, so number one, I think you've got to start with like the culture within the restaurant wanting to drive sales. So talked about the compensation package earlier. 50% of that compensation is driven by same store sales growth. But even more on top of that, you start getting these creative ideas from the team on how we could get more business into the restaurants. Now, mind you, my first unit's about 1,650 square feet, and they do about $1,400 per square foot in sales just in the restaurant alone. You would think that's enough that they wouldn't be trying to drive more business going in there. So the GM said to me, hey, we have this massive hospital, it's 2 blocks away. Why don't we do more business with the hospital? Anyway, telling the story, but I ended up meeting with the director of food and beverage for the hospital. We brokered a deal. We're now in there every Tuesday just for lunch for Taco Tuesday. We'd serve 1,500 tacos in 3 hours to nurses, doctors, patients, people visiting patients. And for me, it wasn't necessarily to make money. It was just to go in. If I didn't have, it didn't cost me anything.
Okay.
I'm serving 300, 400, 500 people every single week, and being only 3-4 restaurants, trying to build the brand. But anyway, so it turned into a situation where we may do $5,000 in sales for 3.5 hours just serving tacos down the street, and then you start to extrapolate that and what it does to your already what I would say successful business there. It takes a restaurant from doing X to Y. But I also think there's just so many off-premise opportunities that are out there. We're getting ready to open up in what I would call a secondary arena in our city. It's not primary because it's not the concert venue and things like that. It used to be, and now they turned it into more of like a sports complex on weekends. So they have basketball, volleyball, dance, cheer, etc. every single weekend throughout the year. So it's a situation we go in, we're going to bolt that onto our second restaurant, and basically open like Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays to a captive audience of 12 to 1,500 people that are locked into that place with only 3 food options. So
that's great. So Susan, question for you. So a great legacy storied brand, one of my personal favorites. If you could launch one completely new business line tomorrow with no red tape, what would it be?
We're doing it. So for ourselves, we recently got the license agreement for Pret-a-Manger. And so what we're really investing in is the grab and go. So A&W's quick QSR, but we make everything when people order it. And we think that with labor shortages and people's increased pace of lifestyle changes and some of the healthier trends out there, that having a really great high quality grab and go concept is brand new for Canada, and we think it will be very successful, and it'll complement our existing operations and offer opportunities to our franchisees as well. So we're excited about that. So that's
great.
That's our big goal.
Awesome. All right, some great answers there. So we've got some quick questions. So Joel, we're going to start with you. Okay. Finish the sentence. Are you ready? In 2025, the most successful restaurant brands will be ones who...
It's not a lightning round if I don't answer faster than that. Who innovate. Culinary innovate, and it's a combination of give people these healthier foods they want, but you also have to subscribe to the fact that they want to take pictures, and it's an integral part of people's identity now. And I just created a blue spirulina for Fruitable, and like those wings that are in Nashville that everybody stands in front of, I have these big window clings on my thing so that people can hold their drink up in front of butterfly wings, because that's a butterfly PET refresher thing. So, I've heard people say, I won't go into an older restaurant because I can't take good pictures there. So be smart enough to know what your customers want. And even if you just have a table or a booth or a place where they can do their photography and all that good stuff, make sure you have natural lighting up above and do that.
Okay.
Great. All right, so again, finish this sentence, this one for Susan. This is my favorite question, by the way.
Okay.
All right, no pressure. Be prepared to phone a friend. The most overhyped trend in food right now is?
I think it's freeze-dried fruit. Okay? Because I buy this little bag of raspberries, and it weighs about 1 ounce, and it's like $7.99, and you finish it in 2 minutes. But it's all over the place. It's on my coffee sometimes when I order a cranberry flavoring, so I don't know. I think it's a bit overhyped.
Okay, good answer. All right, ready to finish the sentence?
Sure.
Are you nervous?
I don't remember
scared?
what this question was, so it's going to be a lightning situation.
All right. The next big white space for growth is?
Off-premise.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Off-premise. That was pretty lightning. That was
That was
pretty
good.
quick.
That was
Yeah, no, that was a great round of applause.
All right. I'm not saying it's going to be a right. It was a quick answer. It's not going to be a right answer.
So I think we have exactly 5 minutes left for questions for our esteemed group of panelists. And you can direct at any one of them in particular or the group. Do we have questions? I see a question over here.
Susan, we read a lot about economic uncertainty in the United States, but we have a less clear picture of Canada. Could you enlighten us a little bit about how you view the economic situation in Canada and how it's going to affect A&W?
Sure. I mean, I think everyone's got some questions and worries about the uncertainty, especially the uncertainty because it makes it very hard to plan. So, I think we're used to financial dips and ups and downs, but usually you can sort of track the cycle. And I think right now we're really trying to pay attention to what is that going to look like and keeping all of our agility present so that we're able to respond to things in the moment. We're a pretty big ship to turn, so we need to always be aware of what's going on. I think our situations are similar and maybe in some ways kind of opposite/complementary. So the things that affect the US affect Canada as well. At the same time, Canada has resources and some different things that might not behave exactly the same way. So we can't just look at the New York Stock Exchange and determine what our future is going to look like, but at the same time, we can get some hints from what's happening in the US.
Great. Other questions?
With Joel, out of your brand mix, is there a particular brand that you're really trying to grow and push forward to like the next level?
Yeah, I think, I look at the recent sale of Pliable and some others, and fruit it's just not there yet. I mean, we have a decent number of units, but it just hasn't caught on in the right way. And like I said, I just inherited it a short time ago. But I think acai is brilliant, right? And I think it's interesting. And I'm not saying anything's top secret, but we just launched, for example, it never had a beverage program. And we launched cold brew. And it was our number 2 selling product and stuff like that. And so it's, I think that one. And then both Mediterranean concepts we have, which are very similar to each other. I think there's a real opportunity for Mediterranean.
Great. I think we have time for one more question. Sir?
Yeah, Joe, you talked a little bit about the virtual business, and forgive my ignorance. How did you do that as far as the packaging? Did you build almost an entirely new cover? Just talk a little bit more about how you do that.
Yeah, it's hard, obviously, because franchisees don't want to carry a lot of expensive packaging. So we do a lot of it through stickers and stuff like that. And it's because you need the stickers anyway to close the bag so that everybody's not eating it in the car. By that I mean drivers. But it's actually worked really well. And it's interesting creating a concept together. And just building it from scratch and then going into AI and doing the logos and then going to different AI and doing the food. And it's really not that hard. It's really not. I mean, you guys are welcome to call me and I'll give you as much advice or as little advice as you want. But if you started today, you could have an AI concept up in third-party delivery in a month with a sticker, if you're willing to do stickers on blank packaging. Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, assuming you could get the equipment or whatever you need.
Great. So we're right at time. Help me, please, round of applause for our panelists. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, James. Thanks, everyone.